Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ringside seat. And I am joined by some fabulous guests tonight. We are back. It's been a long time coming, but a change is going to come. And that change would have been Michael Sprott on the show, but he hasn't appeared with some technical issues with his Wi-Fi. So we're going to commence with what we've got at the moment, which is more than good enough. I'm loving it at the moment. I just want to say hi to Robert Lloyd Taylor. I'll just read something out quickly. 19 wins, 8 losses as a pro. Super welterweight, one of the fans' favourite from West London, and one of my best friends and respected guys in the community, top man, and now managing and training. But over to you, Robert. How are you doing, Robert? And welcome back. Tell me a little something about yourself in your boxing career.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, just doing my thing with my boxers, training, managing, a little bit promoting as well. I was saying to Zach just before we started, had loads of fun last time. It's been way too long. You got a really good thing going. I need to just keep driving it forward, man. Let's keep going.
I agree. So that means we're going to have regular shows then, yeah?
Yeah, man. I'm ready.
All right. So everyone's on board. Choo. The train is pumping away.
Sound effects as well. No expense paid.
It's more realistic. Big up to Brian James. Brian, I admire you as well as Robert. So we said this before, time and time again. Your boxing knowledge is supreme. And I say that, straight face. Honestly, we respect you. You always come from different angles. Like you come up from angles more so than Prince Nassim. We don't see it coming in and bam! You're knocking people out with common sense about boxing. So I respect you. I always respect you, bro. And I'm delighted to have you back on our show again to deliver some wonderful insight as well. How are you? And tell us a little story about your little love of boxing. Why you love
Seriously,
boxing?
that is appreciated. But I've got to pick you up on this one first. You said there was a problem with Michael Sprott's Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi? You said personal life out of these people. This is not what we're about. Okay. You're not a Sun journalist. No. Look, you know me, Zach. So I've been just following boxing for a while. I mean, the last 4 years, I have to admit, MMA is on par, if not watching it more than boxing at the moment. But I'm still following the big fights in boxing and everything else. I'm just a freaking casual who loves the sport, has watched it for many decades, and just enjoys throwing a few opinions, jousting with you guys, especially my nemesis Kehinde. And his wonderful perspectives. It's all good, man. It's all good.
God bless, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, over to you, Kehinde, who people don't know, he's my brother, my younger brother, by 10 years, my senior. There was a time I used to whoop his backside, but I'm not so sure anymore. I haven't tried it for a few years since he's grown, developed that chest and that size. But I still reckon experience is why I know I will win. What do you think about that, Kehinde? Kehinde, just give us a little brief summary about your love of boxing, why you love boxing, who inspired you in boxing, and your favorite boxer of all time.
Oh, favorite boxer of all time.
It's got to be Dad.
Yeah. Dad's number one, of course. Dad was the one that started boxing.
I'll set you up for that.
Yeah. But I mean, I was a martial arts guy when I was younger. Obviously, I've got a black belt and everything. I'm into MMA, but not as much as boxing, because boxing has got more history, And the thing I love about boxing is that I think maybe it's because it's not like football where there's a game every week. You have to wait, and I love the build up and all the talk and everything, and I love the characters. I love the psyche and everything else that comes with it, So I'm really looking forward to this event, this rematch. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about what your opinions are.
Well, it's going to be an open forum today, so even though I might be hosting, I want to get involved as well with this chat, because I think it's going to stir up a lot of division between us, and who knows, we could be bumping heads by the end of the night, because it's AJ against Usyk, the rematch. First fight was in Tottenham, White Hart Lane, about September, October last year. Let's start with this. Who predicted that? Was that a shock result? We'll start with you, Brian. You saw the fight. We didn't cover it before the fight, but were you shocked by the result, or was that exactly how it turned out?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought based on when I saw Usyk Joshua, that Joshua was going to use. Look, I ain't talking rocket science here. The length, the height, that power, that natural size to just negate Usyk, man, and then thump him up around round 4 or 5, and it was like time to go home. That's what I thought. So no, there's no way I expected to see what I saw. There's a whole load of things to discuss around that if we do, in terms of AJ's approach and encapsulating it. I just think that he became gun shy over Ruiz. He became, in my opinion, more concerned with his retaining his earning power and status. And he also became complacent because that was evidenced by the way he fought, which was very Klitschko-like. Do you know what? I'll just stay away from this guy. Won't get too involved. He got involved around round 7. Yeah, Usyk got a bit shaky, but he came off there again. Usyk came back in round 8. And it was almost as if he was saying, if I can remain standing, I've got it. I'm the A side. I'm on my Klitschko-style run, and it didn't work out that way.
Over to you, Kahinde. So you're hearing from Brian here. He's saying that AJ felt he could have won the fight if just staying on his feet. I mean, after the fight, he was quoted saying he thought he won the fight. But how many rounds did you give AJ during that fight? And were you surprised by how the result turned out, how the fight turned out?
I wasn't so much surprised about the result. I was surprised about AJ's approach to the fight. Obviously people talk about the Ruiz thing, but then he had a good win against Pulev. He knocked him down a few times. He was starting to look more like the old AJ. But when he was trying to box with this guy, I thought, what is he doing? What was the game plan here? I was just really confused. And seeing interviews after the fight, when you listen to him, he's like, oh, everyone was telling me I couldn't box, so I wanted to show that I could box. So I just think this guy, he's too affected. He tries to be too much of a people pleaser, and he's too affected about what people say rather than just stick to what his good attributes are. And this is the thing. Obviously, we know the approach is going to be different tomorrow because he's brought in a new trainer. But I was just very, very confused. I don't know what Rob McCracken told him about how to approach a fight. I don't know what Rob McCracken was saying during the fight, whether he was winning rounds or not. I don't know why AJ thought he won. So, we'll see how it unfolds tomorrow.
Just quickly, McCracken was a total cheerleader. When we all saw that AJ needed to step on the gas, McCracken was going, brilliant, AJ, brilliant, mate, brilliant.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah.
Rubbish.
Do you think it was time to change trainer, Rob? And what was your view on the first fight?
I like your opinions, and I agree. What we were saying earlier, though, is I thought the signs were on the wall before the Ruiz fight. When he boxed Joseph Parker, Takam, the signs was there already. Maybe thinking about a paycheck, just scraping through, not getting no mileage on the club.
Gaming the system. Klitschko did it for a freaking, 10 years? Yeah, man. Do you know what? Almost got my ass kicked. Well, I did get my ass kicked. Don't want to go through that again. I'll game the system, man. Yeah.
It sounds cheesy, but like not being in the zone. You could see that a few fights back, clearly. If you see when he fought Klitschko, you know, what he walked through, when he got put down on the backhand to get up and then rally back from it, he was in the zone. And I haven't seen that for a while. So I think he needs to get that.
And he was similar to that against White.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's true.
And remember the ring walk for Usyk? Do we remember it?
Touching everybody's hand, stopping.
Smiling. I was like, hold on a second, is this guy going for a
It was Apollo Creed or something, man, you know?
Yeah. I would you guys have made some great points about mindset. For me, I've said this to my brother before, the Klitschko fight was when I said he's finished. He's done after that. After the fight, he felt that he was the better boxer. I think Klitschko was old man in him for the first few rounds. Couldn't get close. It's only when he went for it, AJ, and blew himself out actually and dropped him. And then he got blew out in the same round. He dropped Klitschko early in the round. Then he was blowing and he couldn't get, and he's nearly got stopped himself. Then he had to recuperate, come through it, and then he gave it one last big effort in the 11th round and actually got through and stopped him. But it's his reaction to that. He got caught and set up by Klitschko for the knockout punch in I think it was the 6th round. And that was coming. He faked to sort of do a left hook and came in with a straight right, and it was a beautiful punch. But his reaction to that, his mindset said to me, you ain't ready for this thing, because you can't accept that you got old man. You can't accept that you got hit with a clean punch, and the only way you won that fight by rallying with your youth. So I saw some deficiencies in character there and then, and that said to me, this guy has to really grow as a thing, learn the sport. It's like he's been taught it, and some, like Robert's a natural fighter, for example. The things he does just natural. But I think with AJ, maybe you're looking at someone like an Olympian who's had hundreds of amateur fights, a great amateur record, with that sort of bat in the bank, compared to AJ, who's just a physical beast. And if we had Michael Sprott on here, he would give us great insight into what it's like being in the ring of AJ. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it. So we all agree that it was a bit shock. Anyone?
What I want to say quickly about that thing with Klitschko is when they were fighting, remember it was around round 4 where Klitschko really had AJ in trouble, and Klitschko paid the price for his 10-year mindset, which was to step away from that. He had AJ ready to go, and he frigging stepped away because he didn't want to gas out, and he was looking to go the 12 rounds. It's just, so he helped AJ big style, because at that point in time, they were saying, you know what? We believe in AJ. We're not saying he's ready, but we're saying it's the right time to take this fight. And if he loses, he won't lose anything.
Yeah.
That was her. That was Matchroom's strategy at that point.
Is it a case of what Marvin Hagler said about hard to get up and run when you're wearing silk pajamas sort of thing? Do you think he's sort of become a celebrity and lost a bit of hunger because he's got that cash flow now?
I don't think so. I'll say quickly, I think AJ is a pathological overthinker.
Yeah,
yes.
He's come up as a chosen one. It's you give credit to his physicality, you give credit to his natural athleticism, but as a fighter, no, man, it's all this flipping blueprint. Feed the instructions into him and watch him box off, rock and sock him, blah blah blah. That's where AJ's at, right? For me, he's probably got about 10 mansions right now with about 8 bedrooms. Well, he needs to burn all those positivity books, man, and just get on with life and get on with the because that ain't him.
Wow. Can we just go through some comments here? Because a few people tuning in. Pete's saying, look forward to this, Omondi and his bro. Always enjoy the input and punditry. Very knowledgeable in pugilism. That's Pete, great guy. FTB column saying big up to the guys on the panel. Solo met earlier saying big up gentlemen on the panel as well. Want to say hi to Miss Melina. Everyone give Miss Melina a wave. Arsenal fan. She's saying big up all the way from
No.
Okay. You see, Melina, we're still on the agenda. I want to say hi to Bath Time with Vaughan, my right hand man. We do a show together every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. called The Eye Test, and he's saying, will AJ have spent more time working on aggression or practicing dancing for his ring walk? Do we need to answer that? I think we have already. And final one here from Rebel, who's an Irishman, part of the Man United agenda. He's saying, even lads, it's a Monday bobbing and weaving. I think we all are. And do the panel think that the winner could tempt Tyson Fury out for one last fight? So remember those questions, unless you want to answer them now before we move on.
Fury's there waiting. He'll be back.
Yeah, Fury. Yeah, it's just a bit of bravado, isn't it? All right, so that was the first fight. Let's talk about how this fight's going to pan out. We haven't spoken much about Usyk, really, have we? Could we just talk about his credentials here? This is a guy who was Olympic champion. He's come up as a cruiserweight. Didn't have many 2 fights, but he's lucky to participate in one of these Super 6 weight fight-offs kind of thing, where the winner will be the undisputed kind of champion or recognized that way. A bit like Andre Ward did. Was it called a Super 6? Is that what it's called?
Super 6, yeah.
Oh, it's Super Series. Yeah,
Super Series.
Super Series. So on that run, I don't know what your understanding about the cruiserweight division is, but he beat Michael Hunter, who's now competing at heavyweight. He's actually won a unanimous decision. He beat Marco Huck, who was running the cruiserweight division for a long time, wasn't he? Bradis was recognized now as one of the top guys in the cruiserweight division. He beat him as well. Gavies, who did he fight? Lawrence Okoli. Murat Gavies.
The cruiserweight, yeah. I think
he fought. And he also obviously knocked out Tony Bellew as well. And then he came up to heavyweight, beat Chaz Witherspoon, beat Derek Chisora. And
sorry, can we mention he beat Joe Joyce in the World Boxing Series?
That's 2013. Has anyone seen that? That's one hell of a barnstormer.
That's a real heavyweight, and he outskilled him, man.
That was the World Boxing Series, wasn't it? It's 2013. Yeah. I think that's a great fight.
And Joe has never been the fastest, of course.
Yeah. But Joe's just a beast, isn't he? The way I think that fight has to happen again at professional ranks, hopefully. So, Robert, over to you. What do you think about Usyk and his skill? And let's talk about what he's got. What makes him so effective? I mean, he's beat some big guys in cruiserweight, and he stepped up 2 fights in heavyweight. Derek Chisora, Chaz Witherspoon, and he was ready for AJ. So, what do you think of him as a fighter?
Cruiserweight, very good. As a heavyweight, I thought he struggled against Chaz, who was fat and out of shape. I thought Chisora beat him, and I was expecting AJ to blow him away, especially off the 2 previous bouts. And what happened. I'll give him a much better chance in the rematch, because with AJ now, so I take away from Usyk, but with AJ, he's just he's second guessing himself now.
Yeah,
I've seen today asking questions from this person, that person, because he's unsure. I mean, you've flown in a trainer from California to teach you new things, but you're still asking this person, that person. So I don't know, man. He's just second guessing himself too much. So
I've got stuff to say on the trainer's comments later, by the way.
Yeah.
Just it's unfortunate here because Michael Sprott's in the comments now when he should be on the show. I don't know what happened to you. He had technical difficulties, but Michael Sprott has actually been in the ring with AJ, so he's got the best insight into sort of give us some feedback about what he thinks would happen in this fight. And unfortunately, he can't be here with us. But he's saying here AJ early. The longer it goes on, then Usyk wins by late stoppage. So I'm going to take that one as a good tip because he's in the know. Also, I mean, I just want to big up Michael Sprott here while we're here. One of the Britain's best heavyweights, I reckon. He's been in the ring with Martin Rogan, with Kel Meehan, Anthony Joshua, Carlos Takam, Christian Hammer. He's been in with Hellenius. He's going in with Wilder very soon. He's been in with Pulev as well. Alexander Dimachenko, Ty Fields. We've got... oh my God, the list goes on. This just goes. Audley Harrison, Ruslan Chulev, who's ex-champion as well. Audley Harrison twice. Ustinov, the massive giant. Layman Brewster, former champion as well. Matt Skelton, my gosh.
Twice.
Let's see. Palais Reed, Danny Williams, Timo Hoffman, Michael Sprott, take a bow. It's a shame you're not here today because we would have boosted you up. We've got some
exactly. Come on, Michael. Come on, man.
I told you earlier.
Tell us something, Robert, about Michael, because you were saying something quite positive about Michael earlier.
We used to train in the same gym in Maidenhead, and in the gym he was an absolute beast. I see him destroy so many sparring partners. He's like a man possessed.
So does he switch on and off? Because he seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah. No, he's one of the nicest guys in boxing. But then when he's sparring, the guy's an animal.
Brian, anything to add to that?
I'll tell you a quick story. We're messing about. I had my gloves on. He had his 10-ounce gloves on, what he boxed Danny Williams in. And he hit me with a body shot, almost broke me in half. With 10-ounce gloves.
Brian, do you want to talk about Michael Sprott quickly, his career?
Well, I probably saw about 3, possibly 4 of Michael's fights. And he was just, at your British, European level, he was just that tough. He was one of those fighters where you could see, look, if you're going to go in with this guy, you know you're getting your thumbs back. You're not going to have an easy night. Unless you knock him out, you are not having an easy night. So I think he must have been, when he was tailing off the peak of his career, he must have been matched extremely wisely, because people are like, I don't want to fight him, man. You're mad. Too much. Man.
He's the original road warrior.
Michael Sprott.
The original road warrior. And what people don't know about boxing as well is that a lot of these guys, they get a week's notice, as Robert was saying earlier, a couple of weeks' notice to go and fight somebody. And that's how they get you off guard, really. So you have to be on it all times. And I've seen Michael have to go the distance for some top guys that I've mentioned there and be robbed because they're the homer, for example. Yeah. So I think that he has to take a proper bow and make sure he come on the show next time. Kahinde, anything to add about Michael Sprott? Your memories of him?
Well, my earliest memory is when he knocked out Ollie Harrison for the first time, because that was the first time Ollie was knocked out. And I think he just came back after he beat Danny Williams. So he was like, had his confidence back. And then I think it's the third round, Sprott knocked him out like cold, I was like, wow,
Wicked knockout.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was bad. And then the roles reversed when they had the rematch for the European. And I went to see 2013. Me and you, bro, we were at the prize fighter, weren't we? Was it York?
That's right.
Yeah. And
tell us how that went. We went to see James Toney.
We saw James Toney, and that was great because he's one of my brother's favorites. He's one of my favorites as well. But I think Toney lost in the semi-final to Jason Garvin, the guy he used to spar with.
Yeah.
And then the sensation.
It's coming like the memory, man.
Yeah.
Total recall.
Sprott met him in the final, beat him easily, and won the prize fighter.
So there you go, Michael Sprott. You missed out today because you were going to get enough love on here. But anyway, let's stay with us, Michael.
You need to get Kahinde on Mastermind, I'm telling you. Just blaze all the questions.
All right, guys, let's talk about Usyk then. Now he's coming into the rematch. Apparently, he's put on a few pounds. Visibly, you can see that as well. What's going to be the benefit of that, Kahinde, putting on a few pounds?
Can I just say something quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was all over that one a couple of days ago with Amir Khan going, well, he's made 33 pounds or something like that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's it.
And now he's actually either 15 kilograms or it was 33 pounds, they were saying. And he's only ended up weighing a half a pound more, but he is more solid. Because off the back of what Amir was saying, I was calling him Usyk 2.0.
Yeah, for the amount of pounds he was putting on, it's impossible. Or almost impossible, unless
that's right.
Naturally.
But he's only half a pound more.
Wow. I'm surprised by that because he does look far more fit.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Do you think that makes a difference, even if he hasn't put on the weight? Do you think he'd be more fixed set? Do you think that's going to help him in any way? Because people were saying he's the lighter man. He should be able to box as he did in the first fight and just keep tagging AJ. What's your thoughts on that? Carrying a bit more weight? Because you've seen clips of him hitting the heavy bag and you can hear the sound. It's a bit like sounds like George Foreman almost. I'm exaggerating, but you see he's got some power in there. Do you think he's going for the stoppage maybe?
For me, I think that's got to be a consideration because he's not only seen as a very technical boxer, he's seen as a very cerebral boxer. So he isn't going to come in there and make some mistake regarding his weight. He's, for me, and Robert will have probably a better idea. I'm sure he'll have a better idea than me. For me, he's coming there and he's settled into being a heavyweight better, which is why he looks thicker and stronger, but weighs virtually the same.
Rob, do you want to add to that about putting on weight? Do you notice he's put on a bit of weight? Do you think he looks a bit thick set and a bit more powerful than before? What benefit would that be?
Yeah, I agree with Brian. Like the weight's not different. So, I don't think he's going to put on weight and bring it to Joshua. I'd like if he did, because I think it's going to force Joshua's hand. And then we're going to have a much better fight, but much more dangerous for Usyk. If you fire up Joshua and he really comes like he used to, he's in trouble then.
I think he's looking to touch him more, and he knows how AJ reacts to getting hurt. So he knows if he's touching him with more power, and remember, he's the faster, more technical guy, He knows he just needs to do that for 4, 5, 6 rounds before AJ starts mentally falling. All these Ruiz demons and the Lost demons start coming back, man. Seeing everyone laughing in the crowd and all the rest of it, you know?
Very good point. Kahinde, you were talking about Usyk. You mentioned he's been knocked out a few times. Do you want to just add why, how, and why he was knocked out or stopped?
Well, I don't know that he's been stopped, but I was looking to see any chinks in his armor, see what's this guy's weaknesses, because he's so great technically, and I've seen him. Gets hurt by a lot of body shots, so that's the only thing that I've really kind of observed. But as far as like the weight, I think this is his 4th fight as a heavyweight. He's growing into the weight, and I mean, as a heavyweight, I don't think it matters too much how much you weigh, unless you come in like Buster Douglas did against Evander Holyfield, out of shape, But it's if it's a couple of pounds or it doesn't matter too much, or if it's just a stone. But I feel that like maybe he is anticipating that Josh is going to be a bit more aggressive, maybe lean on him or something like that. So the extra weight will do him good.
Guys, I'm throwing this out to all of you.
It's only half a pound more. So he basically weighs the same as last time. So effectively, he's pretty much going to replicate what he did last time.
I've been hearing these stories about him doing these swimming lengths as well, like non-stop.
Usyk or
yeah. There's trainers saying he's overdoing it. Usyk.
Oh, Usyk. Okay.
Holding his breath for 4 minutes underwater and shit.
I heard that one.
This is. But this
Don't
might
try that at home. Don't try that at home, guys.
I think what it is for me, AJ, he's trying to, be intimidating, stare at him for long during the weigh-in and stuff like that. But I think it's really difficult to get under this guy's skin because he doesn't speak any English, and he's not really going to be able to engage with him in the press conference or anything like that.
Not too much, Not too much.
Yeah. So it's very hard, like mentally, to really. Get under his skin. And
all right, guys, while we're on that about mind games and everything, I'm just going to read out a few quotes. This is from
Zach's the king of mind games.
And just to gauge where we're at with the mind games and where we're at.
I didn't know Zach had that ready.
Yeah. Good segment, Tadiko. Thank you. All right, so AJ is saying, I've been out here for over a month now, and it's been good. He says, Saudi's been good to me. Shout out to everyone in Saudi. I've had a good time. Everyone at my hotel has been looking after me. Everyone in the gym. It's like a second home. So he wants to fall in love. And he says, inshallah, as well. He's showing people, I'm down with you guys.
He's flipping spit on him, if he was still on the roads.
And he was asked here, will the experience help you? He said, I know what I've learned. Previous experiences are helpful, but it's all about what happens on the night, right? I don't know much. I don't know how much it will help me, but I'm focused and I'm ready to get the job done. And they asked what did he learn from September last year. He said, I feel like one of my main strengths is that I'm a quick learner. I'm a sponge. But ultimately, apart from all the learning stuff, it's a fight. That's it. Whoever throws the most punches. That's AJ. What do you think about those comments there, Rob?
I say, Troy, I don't know, man. He's asking too many questions, too many different people. I was listening to Spence Oliver talking about they're in a WhatsApp group, and he's in there like asking different people different questions, like how to go about the fight and stuff. And I think he's taken on way too much, as Brian said about him overthinking. I've seen so many people overthink, just shuts down their work completely. I think he's committed to the trainings he's got. He just needs to bite down on that, double down on that, and just go with that. I think he's putting too much stuff in his head, come in overthinking, and not perform.
I mean, by saying it's a fight. Whoever throws the most punches wins. We're not hearing much strategy, are we?
Nah.
Kahinde, got to come to you because he's always saying,
like Usyk.
Yeah, he's saying here, do my best. That's all I can do is do my best. And he's saying, so when asked for a prediction, he says, what's everyone else saying to the crowd, trying to incorporate the crowd? Inshallah, we're going for a knockout. I mean, it's just comparing to other fights AJ's had, I just think he's lacking a bit of confidence. Does anyone agree with that? by his comments here. Can we gauge anything from the comments, Zico, Brian?
Zika.
Yeah, I think really this rematch psychologically, it's harder than the Reese one. I mean, Reese, he got humiliated. He got knocked down 4 times in the fight. And psychologically, it's hard to go back and beat a guy, and he did. But it was easy to see what his mistake was, when he went flurrying in after he knocked him down. He just needed to keep his distance. But with this one, I just think it's a lot harder because he's humiliated in a different way where he had no ideas. He didn't get any success in that fight with Usyk. With Reese, he knocked him down. He had some successes, but this one, there was like no real success. It's like a puzzle that he couldn't work out. So I think he's really unsure about how to approach it. And he's thinking, well, maybe I just need to be aggressive and go for the knockout. I'm the bigger man. I need to do this. But it doesn't sound convincing to me. It doesn't really sound, I'm not convinced by his words and what he's saying.
Where are you at with this, Brian? I mean, you like to watch the pre-fight action, the promos, and how people are, the body language, how they sort of airing themselves. Are they animated? Are they seem confident in themselves? What's your views on AJ and the comments that he's been making?
I think it's ludicrous that we're actually discussing a person who's fundamentally supposed to be a fighter at this level. Yeah, it's ludicrous. You know that any of you guys, well, Robert's going to be the first out of all of us because he's been a pro boxer. But you step on my toe deliberately on the street and you're going to get a reaction from it. I'm not going to be sitting there thinking, oh, you shouldn't have stepped on my foot. I better move across to the other side of the pavement. Yeah? You've done it deliberately. You're probably going to take a clump, right? That's on average. If I'm not going to get stabbed up or something, we'll park that one. But AJ's a freaking supposed to be fundamentally a fighter, and he's talking about everything around fighting as if it's some kind of major magical science. You are the stronger guy, the bigger guy, the taller guy, the longer guy, the one with more power. And he's talking about fighting like that? Come on. He is lost. I'm telling you now, yeah. In that first fight with Usyk, you know that you saw all AJ had to do once he got him hurt around the 7th round and he did a Klitschko thing and he stepped off because in the back of his mind it's, look, I don't want to gas out here, and if I remain standing, I'm the A side, I'm going to get the win. So he stepped off that when that was the stage where he definitely should have jumped on Usyk as a fighter. The guy's shaky, right? He let Usyk come back into it in the next round, and that further diminished his confidence. It's a ridiculous situation to be in. And all the time, freaking, what's his trainer's name again?
McCracken.
All the time, McCracken was going, great, AJ, great. Come on, man.
He actually stated that he thought he was winning.
AJ couldn't think for himself. Okay, do you know what? All right, I'm just going to smack this guy in the mouth even more. He couldn't think that himself. And he was saying that his trainers thought he was winning. He thought he was winning the fight. I'm just listening to a load of confused rubbish.
All right. So do you think the telling point here, because he's changed his trainer, and we talked about McCracken and having instructions. So what do you think Robert Garcia is going to bring to
this
AJ?
This gets really interesting because I listened to an interview on Garcia today. I don't know if you guys heard it. And Robert's saying, well, we've had some bad days in this camp. And I told AJ from the beginning that there's things that we're going to tell him that he's not going to like. He's not going to like us at certain times and everything else. And AJ was saying, but you never praise me for the things I do well.
Yes, I heard that.
And Garcia was saying, well, look, we don't really care because we're here to make you work on the things that you need improving. And he finished off his interview by saying, we were concerned about certain things for a while, but the last 3 days, everything's clicked. The last 3 days. If he had told me the last 3 months, things have clicked like a motherfucker. I'm like, do you know what? AJ's got a really good chance of winning here. Now, for me, he's back to a puncher's chance. And that's if he decides to punch.
Rob, what do you think Robert Garcia brings to the AJ? Do you think it's a mental thing, a confidence thing? What can he bring to make him a winner this time around?
I hope it's just the whisper in the ear. You know, for me, I'm really interested to see if he can click like the mentality side of things. Because I think if AJ literally said, "Right, I'm going," like when he first lost, he said, "I'm done with losing." He hasn't got the attitude now, from what I've seen. If he came with that, I'd be pretty confident like he's going to turn it around. But in terms with the trainer, I don't know if that's going to click. I mean, you can't take much from the pre-fight workout, but I didn't like what I saw. But
why not?
I thought it looked really poor.
How?
Yeah, but I think that they don't want to show too much on what they work on in the pre-match workout. Because someone said that about when Tyson Fury got his new trainer. David Hay was saying it that on the pads he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, and then in the Wilder rematch, Fury knocked him out. So I think they just don't want to reveal.
Fury and AJ are completely different.
I'll tell you what, I don't understand that approach, because when you're dealing at the highest level, someone like Usyk, no mind games are affecting that guy. No stupid little games are affecting him. He's just sitting there going, when we're in the ring, I'll take care of my business. It's that simple. You can play whatever game. He's not going to get more complacent or more confident. False economy.
So going back to Robert Garcia, I mean, obviously him and the other guy he works with, who's been, they haven't been there full time. They've been back and forth doing video links and that kind of thing. I did see the interview that Brian saw as well, and I did get a sense that he's saying the wrong things. There's obviously an issue of confidence, and for him to say that about, it's like selling a guy out on the week of the fight, in my opinion, because you're saying there was a doubt, a question mark about his character. He wants to be praised all the time, and these are things that we've been discussing about AJ for a long time now. About he's made it. He just wants to praise. He's a yes man. That's why he kept with his camp for so long. For example, now Robert Garcia's come along and said, this is FUCK. What are you up to? You know, telling him something completely different. And maybe they had to clash to progress under their camp. Who knows what's going to do? But all I know is Robert Garcia. He's got a lot of. He obviously had Mikey Garcia. He had my Dana as well. He's had a lot of Mexican
Rios, all kinds of
yeah. And I can't. The only thing I can say is that he's a Mexican trainer. Because
I was just going to say, he's a Mexican. So what is he going to bring?
And he's never had a heavyweight before. He's never had
my
a
final
heavyweight
point. My final point about that. This is where it just gets even more confusing, because in AJ's mind, he's tall, he's 6'5", 6'6". And I think he should box like Lennox or box like Klitschko to be effective and have a longevity, that kind of thing. But then I've heard AJ a few years ago saying he loves Tyson style, and he's doing all that while he's talking, like he wants to go in there like a battering ram and do all this Tyson movement. But you can't because you're trained. I don't know. So by picking a Mexican trainer who's going to ask you to do things a bit more aggressively and fight like a Mexican, the traditional way, body shots, getting in there, being able to, take a beating as well. I just don't see how that's going to pan out for him in the fight. But
Zach, let me just say something. For me, Garcia is about the spirit. So he's not saying AJ be an idiot, because he will clearly understand Usyk's technical ability. But his message is going to be simple. Impose your advantages. End of. It's not complex. Impose yourself. Box intelligently, but impose yourself. Yeah. Fight him. End of.
I think it's a good thing. That interview revealed a lot, but it's a good thing that I think Robert wants to reveal that he's not being a yes man to AJ, because maybe that's what McCracken was doing too much, just on his bandwagon all the time, and just praise, because he is a new trainer. They are going to do things differently, and he is going to get criticized if he doesn't do things right. And I think this, AJ's got a fragile ego, which we pretty much know. So I think it's a good thing that he's revealed that, but he's not just trying to act like, oh, everything's been going so smoothly. So maybe it will work in AJ's favor. I'm not sure.
I think Garcia is not interested in being a scapegoat. He's an independent guy who's been brought in temporarily, and he's going to be upfront about the circumstances without totally stitching up AJ. He's just prepared to be upfront. So there won't be any "I told you so." His instructions are going to be for AJ clearly to use your physical advantages and fight that motherfucker.
Yeah. I like Garcia because every interview he just seems straight and upfront and honest about everything. I remember when he had that beef with Freddie Roach a few years ago and his racism and all this. But he seems like a straight up guy, and I think he's just being honest. Yeah. So he's not going to make himself.
I mean, we had AJ even talking about I'm going to bring African style. What are you chatting about? No, what is African style?
He's too much. He just wants to be a people pleaser.
I just want to fight him. I want to punch him.
And then when someone asked him about fighting in Nigeria one day, he said, "Oh, well, I have to see what the money's saying." This is what I'm saying. He's a walking contradiction. It's just all over the place.
Guys, I want to just take some comments here, just read them out here. So Colin saying, do any of you guys think that muscle mash by Usyk will be a hindrance rather than a help? I think we touched on that. If you want to jump in, just jump in. Colin was also saying, surely he would have lost some speed and mobility. We touched on that. I think he's also saying, I think Usyk is going to be more aggressive. But for me, he would have lost two of his great assets, which is speed and mobility. I might be wrong, but that's his view. Edward Bound saying AJ to win within 6. You heard it here first. Mark my words. You're talking like AJ hasn't got a chance. He says when he has, so he thinks we doubted AJ. Big up to Andy Herbert. Who wins this? Tyson Fury would want to fight the winner. He'd say, says Andy Herbert. Edward Brown again is saying you lot underestimated AJ, man. I can't wait till he proves you wrong. No hate. Hashtag no hate. And let it go there from thing. So
something's getting lost in translation here because nobody has said AJ has no chance. What we said is what we feel is the best chance where he can win. That's all we're saying. So, let's not get on Sun Reader on this.
No, to be honest, like for me, I'm really a 50-50 on this fight because I'm just saying it doesn't look good for AJ based on the last fight and his psychology, his mentality, and getting a new trainer, things that have unfolded. It doesn't look good for him at the moment, but he's still got a chance because of his size and
exactly and that power.
I wouldn't never rule him out. He's capable.
Let me just ask Rob. So, Rob, you're a manager now, so you understand about fights and that kind of thing, getting your stable, good fights and building them up. So, what's best for business? Who's the best man to win here? What would be better for business, do you think?
AJ, no doubt.
Why is that?
Well, if Fury's sitting there waiting in the wings for AJ, biggest fight he can make, man.
Why is that a bigger fight than Fury versus Usyk? If Usyk wins, for example,
British.
Okay.
The size, both giants, both personalities, but both speak English.
I'll tell you something, Robert. It's weird. I don't know whether it would be a bigger fight, and ordinarily I'd agree with you. But Usyk has this white man mystique about him. People love the character. He will have been in twice with AJ. If he beats him the second time, he's blown up even bigger than before. And people will come out to see that guy. And I'm sorry, this ain't no racist statement because I know someone's going to be taking me to task over that bullshit. Yeah, this is a Caucasian world, and people love seeing a white world boxing champion, especially.
It's a great white hype, isn't it? But finally, over the last 20 years or so, there's been a lot of European fighters, Caucasian fighters, who held the belt, like Klitschko, and now Usyk as well. So,
and now what about Tyson Fury? He's the champion.
Oh yeah, of course, Tyson Fury.
And look, because he's a gypsy, he doesn't come. He's not.
And Fury bought 80,000. Fury bought 80,000 the last time.
Yeah. But to me, that is the ultimate because Fury and AJ, you got a black fighter and a white fighter, both being champions, both are British, roughly around near enough the same size. I think people are not interested in a Fury Usyk fight because I think most people believe that Fury, because he's a very good big man, he would beat the smaller man. And Fury knows how to use his size, knows how to use his attributes, knows how to make it an awkward fight for Usyk, whereas AJ doesn't. So, yeah, the only fight that
I agree.
is
what
Fury.
I'm saying though is that you're not going to get Fury Joshua. You might get more pay-per-view with those two, granted. Just in terms of stadium's audience attendance, it's going to be 80K for both. Fury Joshua, Fury Usyk. It'd just be 80K.
On a personal note, then, on a personal note, what fight would intrigue you more? Fury against AJ or Fury against Usyk?
AJ Fury.
Don't take too long, guys.
I want to see AJ Fury more, but I'll be intrigued. I'd love to see how Fury approaches the new set.
Yeah, AJ Fury more. Fury just keeps Usyk away from him. And as Kahinde said, the great bigger man against the great smart, forget it. It's a foregone one. But people tune in because Fury's popular.
All right, guys, we're going to come down to nitty-gritty now. We want to know from the panel experts here what your prediction is for the fight and why and how it's going to pan out a certain way. We've got 100% record as 1-1 for Brian so far because he was spot on for the last fight, which was Kelbrook versus Amir Khan. So you're unbeaten. Someone's O has to go, and it can only be Brian. So Brian, I'm going to come to you last. I'm going to start with you, Rob. Can you just give us a quick summary? Take as long as you want, because there's a lot to think about with this fight. And all the variables that we have with this fight. How do you see this panning out in the heat of Saudi Arabia? What do you think is going to happen? Let us know what you think.
I was heavily in favour of AJ until, as we get closer, seeing more interviews, seeing the public workout, even though say you can't take too much from that. I'm just intrigued to see, mindset of AJ, and I still believe, as I did from the first fight, it depends what AJ turns up as to how the fight's going to pan out. If AJ turns up, I'm going AJ. But at the moment now, last few days, I'd like to say 60-40 for AJ, but at the moment, I think I'm sitting on the fence 50-50.
Yeah.
But
just to add, how do you see if AJ wins or Usyk wins? How do they win based on their attributes?
I think it's going to be a much better fight this time around. I think Usyk will engage him a lot more, and I'm hoping it's going to force AJ's hand and make him respond. And then, if that happens, I edge towards AJ then.
So you're going AJ win, yeah?
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go into shell and just, flickering punches. If he just, bites down, decides this is my fight, I'm taking it, I believe he'll do so.
Well, let's hope you can get a winning record in this fight prediction league. Coming to you, Kahinde. You got it wrong last time. What's your thoughts on this fight?
I didn't get it wrong last time, but anyway.
I
said Brook would win, but I didn't say it would stop him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, be decisive with this. Have some conviction.
This is hard. This is hard because
that rhymes.
I'm siding with Rob. I said earlier I'm 50-50 because it depends what AJ turns up. Because if AJ does turn up at his best, he's got a very, very good chance of winning. But the problem for me is it's just the psychology. Usyk's going to go in as a more confident fighter, and there's no blueprint on how to beat Usyk. And you've seen what he's done to people like Joe Joyce or whatever. If AJ approaches him too aggressively, it could work in Usyk's favor. I always remember that story about Johnny Nelson seeing Usyk and Vladimir spar, and Usyk was like, Vladimir had no answer for him. Usyk was just destroying him. He couldn't.
What did they say? Vladimir had to leave or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he asked Usyk to leave. So if Vladimir couldn't control him, how is AJ going to do it? AJ hasn't got Vladimir's sort of skill set. So I just think style-wise, this is a style that AJ can't defeat. But I want AJ to win because I want the Fury fight. But I'm on the fence. But I'm going to favour a more 60-40 Usyk. Yeah, I'm going to favour Usyk to win.
I think AJ's got a.
AJ does win. It's got to be a stoppage. If Usyk wins, it could be a late stoppage or decision.
So your final prediction is?
I'm gonna, if I have to say, if you're forcing me, I'm gonna say Usyk, but I wouldn't be surprised if AJ won.
So you're saying Usyk?
Yeah.
Okay. With conviction or
Yes.
not, I don't know. Brian, over to you. Brian, come on. We want 2-0, 2-0.
All right
Brian.
then. All right then. Let me get something very clear. AJ has the physical advantages. We've already labeled what they are, right? That means if he imposes that, he can win. If he's unable to do that, he will get outboxed. He will get hurt because he seems to get hurt relatively easily, by people who punch him as a boxer, If he gets hurt by Usyk, that's when I believe all the demons will come to the fore, because Usyk will only end up bamboozling him more. Usyk, I don't believe, is going to get tired. So we've got two scenarios here, or perhaps three. You've got AJ, who for me has to get to that Ukrainian motherfucker within the first 6-7 rounds. Yeah? Lucky punch, knockout punch, whatever. He's got to get to him. And that gives him the best chance of getting a result if he's hurting him. If he doesn't manage to do that, paraphrasing Kahinde, it's definitely going to be a decision for Usyk. Yeah, it's far more likely to be a decision for Usyk, or even a TKO around about rounds 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, AJ getting tired.
Because I can see AJ mentally imploding if he is not getting the level of dominance he needs to have in this fight. Yeah, he's expected to fight now, but I will say in closing, I don't have faith in AJ's cruiserweight level chin, and I don't have faith in his ability to take punishment. And those are the dividing factors to me. So 60-40 Usyk with AJ with a puncher's chance. First 6-7 rounds.
And also AJ has got to land a big punch within the first 2 rounds to mentally put Usyk on the back foot and think, I shouldn't really be going near this guy. You've got to do something to Usyk.
That's basically what I'm saying.
Make him wary. He's got to land something big early.
For me, watching the first fight, I think after the fight, Usyk's face was touched up really quite badly. Maybe because he's got thinner skin or whatever. But I'm saying, but what was that from? Was it from jabs? Was it like?
That was the power of AJ. That's the power.
Yeah, it just shows you. So even though he's bobbing and weaving and sort of getting touched up a little bit, he was really battered a bit, his face. But I just think that AJ needs to hit him with 2, 3, 4 successive punches to really hurt him. Because he got hit with one, and he thought, wow, that hurts. Let me just poker face him and just get back in his head movement.
I don't think Usyk's there to take 2, 3, 4 punches.
That's the problem.
He's too agile.
Yeah.
He's not that kind of fighter.
Yeah, just start something big, one big punch, just to keep him at a distance.
Yeah, and then you set up the punch. Do you see what I'm saying about Klitschko earlier? Klitschko set up the punch. He has the intelligence to say, right, what I want to achieve. And he can start that from 2 rounds before, like chess. He could do that from 2 rounds before. I'm going to set you up, think, bam, bam, bam. And you're thinking, it's another jab. I'm coming with the hook or something different. I don't know if AJ's got that ability in him, because with all that movement, with all that thinking too hard, or thinking about how I look, or, oh my God, I just got tagged and my chin went up in the air and I've seen the lights and people cry. All these things I think will go into his mind. And he doesn't want to be that meme, doesn't want to be embarrassed. So that's why I think AJ might retire on his stool and just say, look, something went wrong. I can see that happening late in the fight if he can't get to him, because he could get to. Because the thing is, when you get to the first 6 rounds, and if someone's winning majority of those first 6 rounds, and you're thinking, what do I? And you get up around 7, what do I have to do different? I haven't got the stamina now to really change it up to get to this guy. So I do agree. You either go in early, try to take him out of there, rough him up. If I was AJ, this is what I'd be telling him to do. Go in that mindset. Just go in there, rough him up, rabbit punch the head out of him. Don't do what you have to do. Get him in the corner, rough him up as much as you can, and see what happens. And if you try to train with him and you can't hit him with 3-4 successive punches, you're going to lose the fight again. I see that happen.
Other things.
I'm saying Usyk wins on late stoppage. Doesn't come. He doesn't get off his stool.
2 other things though. Usyk, and this is a fundamental part of psychology. Usyk has seen firsthand how AJ reacts to getting hurt and being on the back foot. That is really major, because if that guy's prepared, and we've seen his success, so we know that Usyk is extremely mentally strong. When it comes down to the fight, you don't get to those levels without being mentally strong. We understand that. Joshua as well. But Usyk has seen that in Joshua. So if Joshua isn't in that ring with a kill or be killed attitude, and Usyk is fully prepared, his abilities will be enough to take it, in my opinion, outside of getting KO'd.
Edward's saying here, Brian, he's talking to you, Brian. He said, I'm sorry, but AJ has more than a puncher's chance. Come on, man, be real. He's saying AJ's been in this position before. Don't forget that.
Did I not say that I believe that he's got 6 or 7 rounds to do it? That's more than a puncher's chance, isn't it? No,
I think we've given a balanced view on here. I don't think we're sort of writing off AJ at all. All of us have.
Right, so sorry. Was any of you impressed by AJ's rematch performance against Ruiz, about how his approach and how he boxed? Were you impressed by it? Because he's never done that before. Like,
never done what? But he tried against the New Zealand guy, didn't he?
Parker, yeah, but it wasn't comfortable. But I mean, was anyone?
He doesn't
impressed
look comfortable doing that.
I wasn't impressed.
I wasn't impressed.
You weren't impressed by the rematch,
right? Because what you're finding, look, is you can say that, and you get this. Well, who are you to criticize AJ? Blah blah blah. I get it. But the point is, technically, there wasn't much to be impressed by. He was gun shy. He got pumped in the second round and suddenly didn't want to know, and thought he would flipping game the win. Thought he would just flipping remain standing, not really engage too much, and get the win from a Ruiz who was static because he weighed so much more.
Yeah,
this is what we're dealing with now.
To close in. Yeah.
So if anyone's impressed by that, I don't know what kind of boxing they're like watching, but it ain't what I do.
I don't think you can compare the two, because it's okay coming back. I think he lost badly to Ruiz the first time around. He got knocked around the ring. He just wasn't himself, and obviously he came back with a plan against someone who, if you stood there and boxed him like he did, that was a good way to win. But what would have been conclusive if he would have gone in there and gone into the frying pan as well and tried to smoke him the same way he did by tried to take
negative
and knock him out. Him out. It was a negative win, in my opinion. But this is different. It's a different ball game. When you get outboxed and you can't find in your mind, you're going to bed and you're dreaming. I'm sure, Rob, did you ever dream about fights, about how you're going to approach your opponent? Did you have any rematches, Rob? Did you have any rematches or?
Yeah, I lost.
Yeah. So how are you? Yeah, that's fine. But how are you going into the fight? Did the first fight affect the way you were thinking about going to the second fight? Did you try something different? Your approach? What? I remember. Yeah.
I was much more focused, a little bit too aggressive than what I should have done.
Second time around.
Yeah.
Because you like it rough.
Yeah. But yeah, whatever fight, I think always like mentally preparing for it. This might happen, that might happen. So yeah, my visualization.
Yeah.
Most boxers I speak to visualize.
So that means dreaming about it, like going to bed, thinking about your strategy. When you're in the ring with someone, it's not obviously you've got experience. When you're in the ring with someone, especially someone say you've lost to before, how do you view them? Is it like they the boogeyman view? Do you? Is it like something to overcome?
No.
What kind of feelings do you have?
Because when I lost in my head, like I shouldn't have lost, so let's go again. Then I lost, but then again in my head, nah, I want to go again, and I tried to, but it never materialized. But I don't know, maybe someone. Did
you perform better the second fight than the first one?
Nah. Oh. No. The intent was there. Yes.
Yeah, the better game.
Edward Brown's comment. Yeah, I thought you boxed well. Go on, Edward. Cat him on the pigeons.
Yeah.
Just to add, my dad, he fought Richard Dunn, and he was thrown in there early. Richard Dunn went on to fight Muhammad Ali. He was one of the British champions and all that kind of thing. First time around, he got stopped by Richard Dunn. Wasn't up for it, wasn't ready for it. He was just a bit overwhelmed by it, southpaw, and I think he took a knee, and that was it. But the second time around, he went the distance with him.
8 rounds,
His mindset was different.
Yeah.
Went the distance, and if you read the reports, I know there's no fight tape or anything. You read the reports; it was a close fight. They used to do the scores in the standard and that kind of thing, and it was a really close fight where it could have gone either way. Which suggests he changed something for the second time around. Yeah. First of all, he got his fitness up because he was blowing it out of his ass. Secondly, he boxed, and they said he boxed like a scared chicken or something, like on the back foot, like Muhammad Ali. Yeah. But that was his way of. He was obviously scared in there, so he wanted to.
Well, he said if he was fitter, then he would have won that fight, because he said when he trained in Wales, that was the fittest he's been. Yeah. But he said every time for fights, they'll just call him, just say, "Oh, you're fighting Tuesday." Just that's how it was. Yeah. And the preparation wasn't really good.
It's just another example of rematches and the mindset going into it. So I do think AJ, if he had a stronger mindset, I would have more confidence in him.
This is what I'm interested to see what Robert Garcia is going to bring. If that whisper in the ear is going to make something click.
Yeah, I think it might work in his favor, because he's not like McCracken just blowing up his ass. Yeah. I think he's going to challenge him and just.
But then I'm unsure of the style that he's been teaching him and mechanics.
Can we talk about Robert's fighters that he's had? Like, who's the best fighter that he's had stylistically? They all seem to be comfortable fighters. Maidana did good against Broner when he got Maidana back, and he's the first guy to beat Broner.
But that's a swarming kind of style, isn't it?
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. I just wonder what was behind the choice in AJ choosing him.
Oh, come on, just quickly.
Based on the fighters that he's had, like, what was the main factor in choosing a guy like that? Based on the fight,
someone said earlier mentality, didn't they? One of you guys answered that by saying mentality.
He turned down Andre Ward's ex-trainer as well, Virgil. What's his name?
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hunter. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why AJ chose him. Oh, they said another factor was because he speaks Spanish and so does Angel Fernandez or something.
Yeah, that's right. They got
that's silly.
I mean, in the first fight of Usyk, my opinion, he was like squatting down to almost Usyk's height, trying to box with him. And what I've seen in the pre-fight training session, same thing, squatting down, bobbing, weaving, side to side on like low legs, wide stance. I don't think it looks good.
Do you remember Larry Holmes? He lost his. He was 48-0, lost to Michael Spinks, who was coming up from light heavyweight, who was quicker and just in and out, and really sort of done the jinx on him. Second time around, he came out a bit more aggressive, and a lot of people thought he won the fight. Do you think it could be like that again, close fight, where AJ could be a draw? Is there a draw possibility here? You could usually get 33-1 for it. Do you think AJ?
We have to factor in that this is boxing, and size difference, which we have to take into consideration. Usyk is the better technical boxer, right? That's a challenge to overcome in itself. He's not the stronger guy. He's not the more powerful puncher, but he is the one who can get to AJ easy, because AJ isn't particularly elusive. He isn't that fast, etc., etc. And that's the problem you've got here. So AJ keeps it long, boxes assertively, which is intelligent aggression, and he should be getting results. But if Usyk is able to evade his offense, he's in trouble, because he doesn't take punishment too well.
See,
guys, we're gonna. Sorry, go on, Rob.
For me, is like what Brian's saying is. But for me, if he's not on him like squatting legs, sitting down, he's up nice and tall, strong legs. He could bust up Usyk just with his jab alone.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say quickly is, look at AJ's fights. Even when he got involved with White, got involved with Klitschko and managed to knock him out, Anthony Joshua is not the kind of fighter who could have all those heavyweights in the 70s and 80s. He was never going even eight rounds of attrition. Yeah. He hasn't got that in him. That's not a criticism. It's just a legitimate observation. He hasn't got that in him. He hasn't got that particular level of toughness, which is why he wilts pretty quickly within 2 or 3 rounds of getting pressured. It's unfortunate, but everyone's different. Everyone's got a different physiology. He's not got that in him.
I think Bellew said about Usyk is that because everyone thought Bellew was doing good in the early rounds, but Usyk, like, he just makes you tired just by watching him because you never feel that you've got an edge on him. So psychologically, he makes you tired and he makes you overthink. So I think this is what he's going to do to AJ again.
And if you're tough enough,
I think that's
with all the advantages that Joshua's got, if you are tough enough in terms of your chin is Teflon, your ability to take punishment is unsurpassed, 6 rounds of Usyk dancing around, you're not bothered about it because you know what? I'm going to catch up with you, you little bitch.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do that easily.
All right, guys, we're going to have a wrap. So we've all given our predictions now. It's over to AJ and Usyk on Saturday night. I hope you're all going to enjoy watching the fight. Maybe we'll come back, do a post-match review, depending on the result. We'll see how it goes. We've got to definitely do more shows now. Maybe it's a bit more consistent. On the advice of the manager here, Robert, who manages fighters, and he's managing me as well. Get me in good shape to sort of step up as well. Because it's a beautiful panel we have here, and it's just unfortunate.
Kahinde,
yeah,
do that yawn again.
I can't.
That was amazing, man. I need to freeze that yawn.
You have to watch it back.
She could put your fist in that mouth. That was unbelievable.
Guys,
incredible.
I want to just come on. There's a lot of boxing going on at the moment. One thing we did discuss before the show, which we just want to finish up on now. We're not going to take it too deep. We can do that on another show. But Chris Eubank Jr. versus Nigel Benn or Conor Benn, little Jr.
The Destroyer.
Yeah.
Little Ben.
I mean, what is going on in the world? I mean, I never thought these two would come together. You've got a middleweight who's gone up to super middleweight in Junior, who's really trim. And he said he hasn't been down to 157 pounds, which he must reach for 13 years or something like that. Versus Conor Benn, who I think he started maybe just below welterweight. He's come up. He's a full-blown welterweight now. Yeah, and there's a catch weight. Does anyone want to talk about the details about this fight? And then we can talk about the two guys involved.
Let me just throw this at you quickly before the guys chime in. Conor Benn. Who would have considered Conor Benn fighting a weight-weakened George Groves or even James DeGale 2 weeks ago? Even a Liam Williams 2 weeks ago.
No.
Right? Money. It's too big. The dynamic is too strong. The way it's going to inflame the public is going to be ridiculous. The PPV is going to be freaking mega. The characters themselves mesh really well together. They both understood at their stage in their career, take the frigging mega money and done. Sort the catch rate out because we're going to put 5 million on our bank accounts and we never, if not even more, because this is setting the UK public on fire. You've got everyone from the flipping kids, where dad's saying, "Oh, I'm watching it." The kids are excited, and the grandparents are like, "Well, I watch Ben. I'm watching that too." Everyone's getting involved. Too much money.
And we're plugging it here on our show. Robert, coming to you. What do you think about this fight, especially what Brian was saying there about this matchup? Is it a money fight? And when it then, if this is a loss for Ben on his way up, because he's on the way up, won't that really dent his career? Could that be sort of dangerous for him to take this fight, similar to Kell Brook taking on a middleweight in GGG?
Firstly, I think DAZN had to have this for the injection of interest and money. If Ben loses, no, he stepped up. He attempted a shot of greatness. He was just too small. So I don't think it's going to affect him. If Eubank lost, yes, wouldn't look good at all for him. You have to favour Eubank. I think if he boxes, I think he is quite a shutout. if he fights, it makes it a bit more interesting for us. Ben will give it a good go, but ultimately, I still see Eubank prevailing.
I want to say something now before Kahindo comes in. Conor they've already got it in the plan to be protected. I've seen these fights for the last 20, that kind of fight, the higher weight, lower weight, I've seen it for the last 20 years. As a commodity, if Ben is getting hurt, they're going to pull him out just like they did his father, okay, Steve Collins, whatever it was. They will pull him out before he starts getting hurt because Robert's already given you the blueprint for the actual spin over the situation, which is legit. And he will go on with the money banked and to fight again without getting his brains bashed in over the next 3 or 4 rounds after getting hurt. And all the casuals would be like, "Oh, I fucking robbed, mate. You know, they stopped. I can't believe that. I've been conned." They know what they're doing. Remember, and the last thing I will say is remember his father Ben and Father Eubank. They've only been on a Pally tour for fucking 4 months this year. Come on. They know what they're doing.
Hinde, I want to ask you, with Conor Ben, do you see a potential world champion there at welterweight, considering the landscape of the world welterweight right now? You got 2 top 10 guys, Errol Spence and Crawford, around that weight. Do you think this is a ploy to say, I'm not going to win the world championship, I might as well, or a European championship against the European guy, I might as well just take this fight for money, like the guys are saying?
Yeah, I was just exactly going to say that. Took the words out of my mouth because there's nowhere for Conor Ben to go at the moment. You know, Spence and Crawford they got all the titles. They're probably going to fight, and he's not good enough to beat Spence or Crawford. So there's nowhere for him in the division to go, and this is a big money fight. If he does win, it'll only propel his career and make him look a lot better than what it is. I just, from Eubank's perspective, though, I'm just getting a bit fed up of him, really, because I like him a lot as a personality and all that. But I just think if it was me personally, at the age of 32, you still haven't had a world title. I think that's what you need to be focusing on.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a guy fighting a guy, you know, just like 2 divisions below, just for the money. So it's just, I always question with Eubank, where's his head at? Is he, you know, we know he trains hard and all that, but does he really want to be a world champion? Like he's wasting his years. He's wasting his years. This is not gonna help him win a world title. It's not, you know, he needs to be focusing on Golovkin, who's, well, not Golovkin because Golovkin's fighting Canelo, but whoever the world champion is in his division.
I disagree, Kahinde. I don't disagree with the spirit of what you're saying as a competitive fighter. Chris Eubank is a prize fighter who has been presented with a totally unique opportunity to put 5 times as much money he would get in a world bank into his bank with a fighter he's very likely to ironically destroy. Yeah. And then carry on. He's not easily going to get too hurt in that fight. It's too much money to turn down, too much legacy.
No, I'm not saying, listen, hear me out.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
It
got you on the ropes,
it goes past legacy. Yeah, exactly. It goes past legacy. This explodes their profile to another commercial level entirely. The endorsement potential is ridiculous. You can't if I'm his manager, I'm wanting my 20%, mate. You're getting him with Ben.
All right, I'm not. I need to really look in the division and think who he could fight. I know this is more money than what he could earn as a world title shot. But I'm just saying, for his own personal legacy, if it was me, it's like squeezy bum time. You need to hurry up and get that world title, because he fought Billy Joe like 8 years ago and he lost that fight. And the next year, Billy Joe was a world champion at like 26 or whatever. He's 32 now. The time is running out. Like, this shouldn't be your focus.
I do not turn down 5 million in your bank to go.
He's got enough money already.
50K.
I'm not saying no, obviously, but where was he looking at? I just don't know if the hunger's there. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you both. I agree with what Bri just said, but you know, before the Ben fight come about, maybe we could have been looking at a route to a world title.
I agree.
How important is a
the
world
money's
title?
too much to turn down. That's the thing.
How
How
important
important is
is
the world title?
Because
Because
they're prize fighters. Is it about prize fight or the sanctioning fees you have to pay for a world title belt? A lot of people throw them away.
when Eubank retires, he wants to say that he was a world champion. At the moment, if he just retires, people are not going to remember him. He's got no legacy.
Well, now you've got your answer. You've got your answer there, because he's shown you that he's prepared to compromise his ambitions for the right amount of money, which everyone does in life. I mean, for example, with Ben, they've kept Ben away from Little Avanesian for a reason.
That's
Because
where
they know he's going to get tumped up by that little.
I'm glad you said his name.
Yeah,
that was an. So, what do you think? Is Ben? They're building him up. Obviously, he's got his father's name, Brian. So, do you? But then he's reached a stage where he should go to British level, European level, and then world title level. At European level, this guy Adesanya, what you said, that a lot of people in the boxing world think is better than Ben and would actually hurt Ben. So, and he did maybe avoiding him. Is there any truth in that? Do you think Ben's got world class potential?
He is better. I'm not down on Ben, because Ben's progression for me has been excellent at his level. Now, Avanesian is a step too far. Forget talk of the Spence and whatever. They were talking about Thurman. Forget it, because they know his level is too much of a gulf here. I love Ben's ambition. Once again, his progress. Technically, I wish I could see him more, because I just want to say very quickly, there was a fight he had about 6 fights ago, and the guy was pulling out some stuff, and I was like, do you know what? This is almost like watching a bit of a coming close to a Nazim Hamid level in some of the innovation he was showing. He hasn't shown that since, but I was really impressed by his athleticism and the boxing technique he was showing, and he's very improved. So I'm definitely a fan of his. Yeah. But I understand what he's doing with Eubank Jr.
Okay, Rob, any final words in this fight? I mean, we know it's going to be a massive fight because of the name, but do you think it's going to be a good fight in the ring? Because I've been looking forward to the promo already. I've been laughing my head off for the press conference. That's what's getting me excited, because they got great gimmicks about them, and they've even Ben. I'm starting to like Ben, the way he's always he's like a dog, isn't he? He's like a pit bull.
He gets
pissed off.
He's pissed off.
So apart from the build-up, do you think the fight would be a good fight? I mean, considering the weight,
I believe so, because whatever Chris brings, Ben's going to be in there giving it. I know he's S&C coach as well, and I know they do Dan Lawrence, and I know he always has him in tip-top shape. Yeah. Although I do think Ben needs to be put in a bit more testing fights now to bring him on that bit more in preparation for world title fights. Yeah. I would like to see that, but we're here now. I do think he will give it a hell of a go, and it'd be a great fight for us to watch. I just hope Eubank doesn't stand off and box and outbox him. I hope he gets involved and just makes it a dog
Eubank's
fight.
definitely getting involved. Eubank's chin. Come on. Who's really caused Eubank a problem? It's not going to be Conor Ben unless he's weakened so bad.
Is it chin or is it mentality?
Both.
My reach rate.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, none of you would have said we can imagine him against a weakened De Gale, George Groves, or even a Liam Williams. I rest my case.
Yeah, I agree.
Just quickly, last thing I just want to ask one question. So if Conor Ben goes up in weight, do you think that means he's going to be like a junior middleweight from now on? Because do you think he's surpassed the welterweight division? You reckon he will? And that would be okay for him to go back down?
Yeah, he'll go back. Yeah, it's fine, because he walks around.
What's the catch weight? So he walks around at 160 maybe, does he?
Something like that.
He's pretty heavy. He just hasn't got a ball down as low.
So he walks around at middleweight?
He walks around about 160, 162.
Okay, all right. And then Eubank walks around at what? 170, he said the other day, I think?
Eubank?
Yeah.
No, Eubank, he was saying about 172, 74, something like that. He was saying something like that. But he doesn't go too high himself.
So just for the people out there, can someone explain about the the thing about catch weight, and what about the rehydration clause? Can someone just explain that to someone who wouldn't know and who's watching right now?
Before Rob, because I know that Rob knows, and I'm sure Kehinde as well. One thing I want to say about the contract, and this was revealed by both of them, is Eubank Jr. was the one who presented the 157 compromise and the rehydration clause, which is why Ben got frustrated in the press conference, because he was going, don't make it out as if we gave it to you. You presented it to us and we agreed it. Yeah. So I get the impression it's going to be something like a 6 to 8 pounds rehydration clause over the 157 in the ring, so that Eubank doesn't come in too much.
So the weigh-in is the day before, so 24 hours before the fight. So from the time of the weigh-in until what time? Is it the following morning they have they weighed again?
When they get into the ring, they'll do it beforehand, just beforehand, but it's 6 to 8 pounds for Eubank Jr. and that's it.
So Eubank can only put on an extra 6 to 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, and that would mean usually he would put on a lot more than that if there's no clause, rehydration clause.
Yeah.
So that's to kind of balance out the fight. Is that the reason for it?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard something about 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the weigh-in, goes to bed. By 11 o'clock in the morning, he gets weighed again. And if he's over 6-7 pounds, then he gets fined. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I reckon they're going to make it 6 pounds then if they're going to do it at 11 o'clock.
Right.
Because it would make no sense for him between 11 o'clock and the fight to be able to put on an extra 4 pounds.
Yeah.
In ring, he cannot be more than 6 pounds, for example. He can't be.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think for Conor's team, it's like they want to make him weight drained or something. That's how they want to get the advantage.
Which is fair. Or to
that's fine. That's fine, and I get it. You know that, and Eubanks complied to that. He said that's fair enough. But just on the fight itself, I don't think Conor Benn has the style to beat Chris Eubank Jr. because obviously Eubanks' chin and everything, and I just think to beat Eubank Jr., you've got to box him, use the jab well, and all that. You can't just be aggressive and try and bang him out. It's not going to work.
Eubanks a dog with world-class super middleweights. He's shown he has a Teflon mentality. He isn't going there with little Conor Benn. Shoulder arms.
Him at all. Yeah.
And falling apart.
Hold on a minute, guys. We are suddenly giving Eubank credit as a top fighter. We're endorsing him here. When before, I think a lot of people say that they're disappointed with him or he's not that great. But you're saying he's gone in toe-to-toe with big super middleweights. You're impressed by him. You're clearly impressed by Eubank. Talk about his chin as well. So we're not down on Eubank here. We think he's a good fighter.
We're not.
I think he's clear. Yeah, I think he's a good. I think he's got a good mentality, and I don't think he's going to be stopped in his career. He's got a great chin and everything, great endurance. He's proper fit and everything, but I still don't think at the moment he's shown that he's championship material. He hasn't proved that. So that's what frustrates me about him. I'm just saying that Conor Benn is not going to be a threat to him because he's. So
neither of these guys are ever going to be world champions. This is what we're both saying. We're all saying here.
I think Conor will have a chance if when Spence and Crawford are finished, or if Conor goes up to 154. Because I don't think the division at the moment for the next few years, Conor's gonna want to fight any of those guys. But at 154, I don't know. Maybe he might have a chance.
If you're keeping Conor Benn away from little Avanesian at the moment, he's a good way away from real world championship considerations. He just is. That is not a slight on the guy, because we have to understand and we know how long he's been a pro. It's the same with Eubank. Eubank is very good, but none of us appear to be saying he's a nailed-on world champion. It would have to be a very clever route. And if you think about how his dad, when he was involved with Eubank's career, has played it, they're always trying to find the right fight.
When I say that Conor could be a world champion, I'm not saying that he's going to be a top contender like Spencer Crawford. I'm saying that he might fight for a vacant title or some WBO.
Absolutely,
like what George Groves did, how George Groves won his title. That's the sort of route that I'm saying.
Agreed. Absolutely, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Rob, what's your thoughts on this? Because this is about whether
Yeah.
the two of them, who's going to be world champion, what's their credentials? We are bigging them up here, and
Yeah.
Eubank as well. Do you think any of them will be world champions? What's your thoughts on what
Yeah,
the guys have just said, Downs?
I believe they both can. I think Matchroom be strategic to get Ben a world title shot that he can win.
Right.
So I do see that happening. Eubank, I think he could be a bit more adventurous on winning the world title. And against the right person, he can, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think-
I actually don't think that either of them will
Eubank.
ever be world champion.
Well,
Sorry?
think about Eubank and Golovkin. Eubank definitely bailed out of the Golovkin negotiations, which is why Kell Brook got the
Yeah.
opportunity.
Mm.
So Eubank is an intelligent guy, and his dad's not stupid. And they were evaluating his ability, which is very good. It's not amazing. It's very good.
And you just touched on a good point there, because Kell Brook wasn't the same after that Triple G fight, and he fought Errol Spence next. But he psychologically, I don't think he was the same after that beating. So I don't want that to happen to Conor Benn, where he stepped up, gets beat up, and he's not the same. So,
And this is why I maintain part of the plan, if we also consider the two fathers coming off the back of their pally, we love each other now, world tour, this all would have been discussed. You can look at Ben and Eubank hating each other, but you ain't going to have those two fathers come off the back of their UK tour and that being truly genuine. They're going to be competitive. They understand that they're there to hurt each other because that's what boxing's about. But this is business, and it's brilliant business.
Question here from Peter in the comments. He said both realistically won't be world champions. There's Boots Ennis. Well, he looks good at welterweight, doesn't he?
He's looking good.
And Eubank Jr. has that Jamie Mangula and Charlo as well, the brothers. So this fight was really the best option for them. And he goes on to say, Pete, so do you think Eubank Jr. would survive Benavidez at super middleweight?
No.
he'll go the distance with him, but I don't think he'll win.
Benavidez on fire.
Benavidez should be fighting Canelo. Canelo's avoiding him. Avoiding him. I think he's.
So there you go, Pete. All right, guys, we're going to round up now. Just a quick summary. So we've discussed the AJ fight. We've had our predictions. We're just going to ask you once again for your prediction. I was saying Usyk will win that, probably stop AJ, or AJ won't get off his stool. Robert, what did you say again conclusively?
I'm going to side to AJ. I'm hoping that Robert Garcia is going to, whisper sweet words in his ear, rev him up, and get him going and pull the victory out.
Hinde, what did you say?
I said Usyk, but I wouldn't be surprised if AJ won. But you have to.
So you're saying Usyk. Let's be convicted. And Brian, with your 100% record.
I would like to see AJ look good in this fight if he wins, but it's 60-40 Usyk for me, and with AJ a puncher's chance within the first 6-7 rounds, most likely.
Okay, so guys, because it's in Saudi Arabia, I think the times be adjusted, so it's going to be favourable for the UK viewers. Is that what I can imagine? So maybe 10 o'clock, typical time would be for fight.
Yeah, I have my stream, man. I have a stream.
Yeah? Oh, good. I've got the fight. Have you got the fight, Rob? Are you going to be able to watch it somewhere?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm watching 100%.
Good. I think the atmosphere is going to be amazing.
James Wilson as well.
James Wilson.
Yeah, he gets a lot of hype on Instagram. James the Beast Wilson.
Black guy.
Bit of a Tyson lookalike.
Oh, him. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Who's he fighting?
It's a cruiserweight he's fighting. I think he's one of Mayweather's old fighters.
How many losses, Robert? How many losses the Beast?
I think he's had one draw and 1 or 2 wins.
Okay.
He's not fighting the Swedish guy, is he?
Around him.
Because also there's a big Chinese guy on the bill as well, isn't there? There's a big Chinese guy, I forget Wong, his name is, heavyweight. He's fighting on the bill. There's a couple other fights there as well. There's
Callum Smith.
Fights.
Yeah. Callum Smith.
Callum, he's gone up to light heavyweight now, hasn't he? He's fighting.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I want to ask
you.
Who?
He's got Boatsy coming up next, hasn't he?
Oh, wow.
Callum.
Yeah. I just read it this morning.
Oh, wow. That would be a good fight. I really enjoyed the fight Boatsy against Spider.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, wow.
that was a very good fight. Very
What
good fight.
a fight.
But
Yeah.
actually, a Yard should be fighting.
Yeah, well, that'd be another good fight. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
That's long overdue. That's long overdue.
Doesn't Yard's supposed to be
I
fighting?
tell you, Zico doesn't want these fighters to make any money, man. Zico would ruin your career within freaking 6 months.
No, you got to have like a British strap. Just like the Gale and Groves, you got to have it. Like Saunders, Eubank, you got to have it early.
Which part of London do you live?
And then go.
Which part of London do you live?
West.
Which part of London?
West.
The best.
West
the
London.
best. West.
He's the
West
Don
side.
King of West London, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, guys, just one more question. I can't remember the guy's name. He fought recently. He's an amateur. Ben, what's his name? Ben.
Whitaker.
Ben Whitaker.
Go on, Naz.
What do you think, guys? Come on, you've seen a bit of him. Any insight into how good he could be?
Well, I
They're building
believe
him
he's Johnny Nelson's long lost son. I reckon Johnny Nelson was partying around the UK, man, dipped his wig, and then Whitaker came out. You look at the way Nelson was looking at him when they were being interviewed, and I thought, do you know what? You and him look like father and son.
Father and son. Any potential there? Because they're building him up. Any potential, guys?
I think so. I was disappointed with the opponent they pulled for him. He should have been fighting someone a lot better, but he has got skill, mad potential. I don't know about punching power.
They are going to milk this guy's career because he's got that Naz shit going on with a little bit of Nomachenko, right? He's like a long, gangly freaking Naz with he's watched all the videos. You know, his only problem is that Brum accent, man.
Oh God!
But everything else is there.
Sorry, we apologise to the people in Birmingham.
I'm joking.
He didn't mean that.
He's been boxing the best in the world, and they put him against an opponent like that. I wasn't impressed. He needs to move fast, I believe.
So we're going to finish up. Robert, can you just let us know about what events you've got coming up with your stable? Because obviously you're like Bobby Heenan, you've got the stable there. Tell us about your fighters and what's coming up for them, and where can we come and watch you?
Next up, I'm going to have my son, Junior, and
Junior.
and one of my other young bucks in the development championships in September. Then we got Bradley Townsend, the Talisman. He's 10-0. He's out in Oxford in the homecoming, the 14th October, I believe. And then Fuad the Pirate, he should be out October time as well.
On the same bill?
No, not on the same bill. He'll be London-based somewhere.
I'm coming to the Oxford fight. Me and my brother. I don't know, Brian, if you're interested, but that's not too far from me. I can make that. So yeah, let me know early for tickets. I want to come and see that. See what
I do think we should do a live link up as well for one of these shows. Would be
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we've got a lot of planning to do that. That's a good idea, especially your stable coming up. We'd like to give you a bit.
You have to make that one central.
And Brian,
Cambridge.
Brian, what have you got going on next? I mean, you'll obviously be coming on the show. We're going to be doing this a bit more regular. But what else have you got going on with boxing? Anything you're looking forward to?
No, not really. It's just I'm just seeing as it comes along and everything else. You know, I'm just back here trying to get out in freaking Cambridge because, like I said to you, after the lockdown thing and whatever, and moving here, all my flipping all the mates I used to have, the few mates I've got, I'm well away from them now, so it's really quite frustrating. So for me, the goal at the moment is more about a social life than boxing. But I'll pick it up as I go along.
Well, good. We're going to all keep in touch. Little bro, how are you feeling? What are you excited about over the next coming months, apart from the fights we discussed with boxing? And what's the state of boxing for you at the moment? Are you happy with it?
Yeah, happy. I'm really excited about tomorrow because I want to see undisputed heavyweight fight. I want to see what Fury's reaction is. I'm looking forward to Wilder's return against Helenius as well, seeing what he could do, if he could get back in the mix as well. And obviously Spence and Crawford, I don't know if they haven't announced a date for it, but it's pretty much confirmed it's going to happen. So stylistically, I think that's a great matchup. So yeah.
So boxing's on the up. We can stop this UFC talk. Let's forget about it. Unless you guys want to have a podcast on UFC, don't invite me. I know nothing about it.
Two men running around the hot pants. Nah. No.
And wrestling. Not for me. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure having you guys on.
Absolutely.
We're back again. Maybe we should do this more often, which we're planning to.
Good comments from some of the outside guys as well. Some of the Sun Reader.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for your comments, guys. And also,
thanks for comments, man.
Big up to Big Mike, Michael Sprott as well. Hopefully, he can get his Wi-Fi sorted and come back on, and not be so late next time. We were supposed to start at 10 o'clock today. We started at 10:30 because we were waiting for Big Mike. I don't know. Next time. But from us here at FDB Sports, appreciate you tuning in.
Bless up
Make sure you
everyone.
watch the fight.
Thank you.
Big up, watch the fight tomorrow, man. And come on, Usyk, let's do this.
Usyk 2.0.
AJ,
Come on, I want AJ to win. Come on.
AJ, let's go.
Come on, AJ.
Right.
I want AJ to
We'll
win.
be back. We'll be back for a post-fight.
AJ, win in style, please. Win in style.
We're out, guys. God bless and have a lovely weekend.
Respect.
Thanks.